All right, folks. So if you watched the podcast on YouTube last week, then you know I'm still experimenting with this deal. I've been doing YouTube videos forever. That's why you see a green screen behind me. But clipping my phone right here, it was like right up in my face. Didn't make a lot of sense, and I hated it. So we're going to try doing the podcast from a healthy distance. We'll see how that looks, okay? So here we go. Let's get started. Oh, hey, go to Facebook, like our page, Chiropractic Forward, but we also have and that's more promotion, letting people know when the new episode's out, but we also have a Chiropractic Forward Facebook group. And on the group, we're going to share papers, we're going to talk about it, we're going to use some of the things that y'all say, some of your ideas we're going to include in the podcast the following weeks, and I think it's going to be a good deal. I think it's a good way, if you join the group, to just kind of have a cohesive, combined effort on what we're trying to do here. So go join the Facebook page and the Facebook group, okay? Okay, now here we go. Ready? Let's get this party started. Hey folks, today we're going to talk about a couple of pretty cool papers that came out pretty recently, and one of them only a couple of weeks ago from the day of this recording. And that had to do with spinal manipulation and the effectiveness in treating headaches and migraines. Psst, here's a hint, it's good for chiropractors, except for the very ending. Bumper music! I recorded this music. Guitar. Okay, we're back, and you have it shimmied your way into episode number 33. Welcome to the podcast today. I am Dr. Jeff Williams, and I'm your host for the Chiropractic Forward podcast. I have to say that really in the last month specifically, this podcast has really started to take off a little bit, certainly in terms of downloads and listeners, and I couldn't be more excited. You know, when you very first start something, there's a really excellent chance that nobody cares. They just don't even give a darn. And isn't that always the fear when we're starting something new? And well, it is for me. I mean, is anybody going to care about this? That's kind of the deal. Am I going to be able to offer any value? And basically what I've done is I've diagnosed myself with an anxiety issue, and I really think I have an anxiety issue. I tend to overthink things. I way overthink everything. To the point of losing sleep a lot of times. And in the end, it's just because no matter what it is that I'm doing or I'm involved in, whatever I'm giving my energy to, I just want to do a good job. You know, I want to do the best job that I can. I tell my son, you know what, even if I don't necessarily like somebody on a personal level, if they are a hard worker, I can respect them. And I can respect their work. And I try to work hard. I try to bring things of value, things that are valuable to me. I try to bring them to you through my writings, through videos, social media, and through this podcast, and through the Facebook group. So, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I have zero clue where all of this is going to eventually lead me. I just really don't know. There's no grand plan behind it. All I know is that I see its value, and more of you are finding its value every week. And I think that's just, like I said, it's super exciting. Maybe I'll eventually be able to put a course together for marketing your practice from an evidence-based perspective. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'll have in-office patient education products. I'd love to be a speaker, and I'd love to travel the world bringing this sort of information to evidence-hungry crowds and promoting an evidence-based treatment protocol. I just think that would be amazing. You know, what I'm saying is I have no idea where it can go, but for now, I know that I'm having fun. It's cathartic. It feels good to talk about this stuff, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Maybe it's the old traveling musician in me. Maybe, you know, I just have to have people tuned in to me, or I'm just lost, you know. I really have no idea. But I know it's fun, and I'll keep working hard if you'll keep listening, and we'll just see where things go down the road together. I'm always keeping my eyes out for colleagues that see what I see. And if that's you, send me an email. Let's connect. Also, we'd like to ask you to join, like I said before, not only the Facebook page, but we also have a Chiropractic Forward Facebook group where we've started sharing the papers we use, accepting comments, and maybe including some of those comments from you in your future episodes. We want our podcast to be a group effort, and if you'd like to participate, we'd like to have you. Come join us. The link is going to be in the show notes for this episode, so just scroll down to this part of the talk, and the link will be right there. On a completely different note, I had mentioned back in mid-July or so that I was at the Chiropractic event in Dallas that was put on by the Texas Chiropractic Association, and I met Dr. Tim Bertelsmann down there. He was there for two reasons. One reason was as a vendor for his and Dr. Brandon Steele's company called Chiro Up. It's an amazing product. But the other reason was to teach the low back portion of the Diplomat of American Chiropractic Orthopedists, or the DACO program. And that was put on through the University of Bridgeport, and the TCA brought them to that event. And that was, I told y'all about that a few episodes ago, and that was just, I was blown away. As this episode here is recorded, next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend, I'm about a week and a half or so away from going through my second 10-hour course. This one's going to be taught by Dr. Brandon Steele. I haven't had a chance to meet him yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be down in Dallas again, and it's going to be a big time. I can't wait to learn more. I believe his talk is on shoulder, all that good stuff, evaluation, treatment. So I saw on one of the private groups on Facebook where a poster was asking for some good pointers on a report of findings. Immediately, there was like 7 to 10 posts that had to do with recommending Dr. Bertelsmann and Dr. Steele's Chiro Up program, and one of those posts was mine. I'm gonna admit it. I on the post I put, you know what, this thing's a game changer, because, well, it is. It's absolutely a game changer. I started using it about a month ago, I guess, and it has literally changed the game for my busy office without adding a lot of demand to my staff. We're talking about patient education, activities of daily living, patient follow-up, patient exercise rehab recommendations, and even expediting online Google reviews, which, if you don't know how important that is, then you're kind of behind. I've tried several products, and I've tried several services through my 20 years. They say, we do this, we do that, and I get all excited, and I blow a bunch of money on it. And honestly, most of them, they're just hype, and they just take your money. And in my experience so far, it's only been 30 days or so, Chiro Up has been beyond what I expected, and that's something to say. I'm jaded as hell, but when Dr. Bertelsmann started showing it to me down at the Chiropractic in Dallas, my jaw dropped just a bit. I think I started slobbering, kind of drooling on myself. I'm not sure, but it was powerful. Anyways, he showed it to me for about a minute and a half, and that was it. It was basically, shut up, take my money. We don't need to. You keep trying to sell to me, which he wasn't selling. He was just showing it to me. But if you keep selling this to me, we're just wasting our time, because I've already bought it in my mind, basically. So I want you to know, I don't have any deal set up with these guys. I don't have a deal set up with ChiroUp at all. Not yet. Not yet anyways. If it's up to me, I absolutely will, because you're more effective when you're selling something you use yourself and you love yourself. So, it is absolutely amazing. But as of now, they don't sponsor the show. No affiliate marketing deal, nothing like that. I'm like your colleague down in a different part of the state that says, hey man, I'm doing this thing and it's pretty freaking great. You should look at it. And that's all. That's who I am. I'm just giving you some friendly advice. I've been messing with it. I've been using it and I love it. I think you guys will too. If you want to look into ChiroUp, go to chiroup.com, give it a look-see, and if you like what you see, join up. You may mention our podcast and me, Dr. Jeff Williams. It never hurts for people to know who was out there pumping their tires, Nothing bad can come out of that. Sometimes what goes around comes around, and I believe in always trying to project the good mojo. Absolutely. I'm all about good mojo. We're honored to have you listening. Here we go with some vital information I think can really build some confidence and improve your practice, which will improve your life overall, I do believe. This week's all about headaches from this point forward. I want to first direct you to a podcast we did that cited a bunch of headache papers, and I mean nine papers. I hope you guys will go and listen to it right after you listen to this one. It was episode number 14, but you got to know about 14. 14 was right smack dab in the middle of a series of podcasts I did called Debunked, the odd myth that chiropractors cause strokes. So those episodes were 13, 14, and 15, but 14 is the one that had all the headache talk and all the headache research papers in there. 15 is the conclusion of the series that we did. And I can't stress enough how valuable I really feel like those 3 episodes are. I hope you'll go and listen to them. I've got them linked right here at this part of the show notes. So just go to the webpage and go clicky and check it out. We're going to get going with this paper from February of 2018. It was called Dose Response and Efficacy of Spinal Manipulation for Care of Cervicogenic Headache, a dual-centered randomized controlled trial, and it was done by Haas, Haas, et al., and was published in the prestigious Spine Journal on February 23rd of 2018. Now here's why they did it. Although the researchers know that spinal manipulation is effective for cervicogenic headaches, which is nice to see, I like that comment, there has been little information on the dosage of spinal manipulation for them. They wanted to evaluate the efficacy of chiropractic by comparing it to a light massage group. And here's how they did it. This is a 2-site, open-label, randomized controlled trial. Participants were 256 adults with chronic cervicogenic headache. The primary outcome was the amount of days with cervicogenic headache in the previous 4 weeks, and it was evaluated at 12 and 24-week primary endpoints. Secondary outcomes included cervicogenic headache days at remaining endpoints, pain intensity, disability, perceived improvement, medication use, and patient satisfaction. Participants were randomized to 4 dose levels of chiropractic spinal manipulative therapy, 0, 6, 12, or 18 sessions. And they were treated 3 times a week for 6 weeks and received a focused light massage control at sessions when spinal manipulative therapy was not assigned. Linear dose effects and comparisons with the no manipulation control group were evaluated at 6, 12, 24, 39, and 52 weeks. So let's wrap all that up and make some sense out of it. In the author's conclusions, they say, quote, there was a linear dose response relationship between spinal manipulative therapy visits and days with cervicogenic headaches. Hooray, hooray. For the highest and most effective dose of 18 spinal manipulative therapy visits, cervicogenic headache days were reduced by half, and about 3 more days per month than for the light massage control. Hooray! I love it. Here's one I thought was pretty darn cool, and it's buried all the way down in the middle of a website for the Wiley Online Library. Now this paper, and this, okay, let's backtrack here. This site has all the research covered at the 60th Annual Scientific Meeting, American Headache Society, on June 28th through July 1st of 2018, so this month. It was at the San Francisco Marriott Marquis in San Francisco, California. Now, this particular paper was covered or authored by C. Bernstein, and it was called Rationale and Design of a Randomized Controlled Trial of Chiropractic Therapy for Migraine Pain Alleviation. Excuse me. Now, here's why they did it. While medications are often a first-line treatment for migraine, many migraineurs, I didn't know that people that suffer from migraines were called migraineurs, but I want to make a joke, but I don't know how to. If atroprons are out atroproning, I guess they're entrepreneurs. I don't know. Terrible joke. Terrible. Let's move on. Anyways, while medications are often a first-line treatment for migraine, many migraineurs, love it, do not experience clinically meaningful responses to preventative drug treatments or discontinue medication use due to side effects. Chiropractic care is a non-pharmacologic intervention commonly used for the treatment of pain conditions, including migraine. And you got that right. I love it. They go on to say, quote, observational studies and small trials have shown that spinal manipulation may be an effective therapeutic technique to reduce migraine pain and disability. We present results of a meta-analysis of spinal manipulation on migraine pain and disability and describe the design of a randomized controlled trial evaluating comprehensive chiropractic care for the treatment and prevention of migraines. Oh yeah! Sounding good. This talk appears to be about a new study that they're going to be creating or going through, and it's going to be based on some of this preliminary work here. And here's what they're working on. They searched PubMed and Cochrane Library databases for clinical trials that evaluated spinal manipulation and migraine-related outcomes published through April 2017. The effect sizes and heterogeneity of pain and disability were estimated using meta-analytic methods. The Cochrane Risk of Bias tool was used to evaluate the methodological quality of retrieved studies. Sometimes there's just that word, every now and then. Methodological. The results of this meta-analysis informed the design of a randomized controlled trial evaluating the addition of chiropractic care to usual medical care for women diagnosed with low-frequency episodic migraine, also known as a lady migraineur. And here's what they found. On the basis of 6 identified randomized controlled trials, random effects models indicated that spinal manipulation significantly reduced pain with an overall moderate effect size. Spinal manipulation also significantly decreased disability with an overall moderate effect size. However, the existing studies focused primarily on isolated spinal manipulation and not on comprehensive chiropractic care. Now, to address this gap in the literature, our RCT will assess the safety, feasibility, and effectiveness of multimodal chiropractic care for women aged 20 to 55 who experience 4 to 10 migraines per month. Ooh, that's a lot. And are not using preventative medications. Our modular chiropractic care approach may include, as needed, posture correction, spinal stabilization exercises, soft tissue relaxation techniques, spinal manipulation, mobilization, breathing and relaxation techniques, stretches, self-care, ergonomic advice, and/or bracing and supports. So, let's conclude what they're saying here. The author said that they said the following, quote, our meta-analysis indicated that spinal manipulation shows promise as a therapeutic technique to reduce migraine pain and disability yet highlighted the need for rigorous studies evaluating the full scope of chiropractic care for migraineurs. Geez, I love that word. I'm just going to start calling people migraineurs. The result of our meta-analysis provide the rationale for the design of our randomized controlled trial. So, I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see the result of this randomized controlled trial. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because I already know the results. Yeah, because I'm magic that way. I brought my crystal ball to work. I didn't really. I'm looking around for it. I don't have it. But I don't need it. I don't need it. Because at this point, you know what? It's anecdotal, but the results are going to show that chiropractic care is significantly effective for headaches and migraines on migraineurs. And I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. I see it every day. So, I mean, I don't even have to know what the end story on this thing is, but I can't wait to see them say it. If I don't find it first, here's what I do know. I know that my colleague, Dr. Craig Benton, down in Lampasas, Texas, he'll probably find it before me, because that guy, he's on it every single day. I get a lot of information from a lot of different places, but he's always got it first. Drives me crazy. And he won't give me his secrets, but that's okay. He lets me use his information, so that's awesome. Thank you, Dr. Craig Benton. Lastly, I want to direct you to episode number 6 of our podcast. This one was with Dr. Tice Hergert, good buddy of mine and colleague down in South Lake, Texas. And the title of this podcast was Astounding Expert Information on Immediate Headache Relief. Again, it is linked in the show notes. I hope you will go and read them and go check it out. In episode number 6, we covered a paper that I thought had an outstanding quote in the conclusion. The quote from the authors themselves read as follows, quote, "Upper cervical translatoric spinal mobilization intervention increased upper and exhibited a tendency to improve general cervical range of motion and hold it, and induce immediate headache relief in subjects with cervicogenic headache." Immediate headache relief. That feels good. Now, in that episode, we explained that it was authored by a physical therapist, and that these physical therapists have come up with their own term for a chiropractic adjustment, and that term is the one you heard, translatoric spinal mobilization. Whatever. The point being that chiropractic adjustments can provide immediate relief for cervicogenic headaches, and that's pretty sexy. Straight up awesome. The subpoints, or something extra I'd like for you to notice, is the fact that physical therapists are moving in. They're adopting our one thing, so much so that they have taken it upon themselves to rename our one thing for their own use. And this goes back to what we covered in episodes 28, 29, and 30. We must integrate into the medical field and quit being on the fringe. Otherwise, those that are already in the medical realm, physical therapists, they're just going to take our one thing. They're going to take our one thing and they're going to steal it. And we're still going to be sitting out here in the rain, knocking on the window and watching them all in there eating steak and prime rib in their private club. You know, who the hell wants to do that? Not this guy. I know that's a little bit dramatic. I do. I'm going to admit it. Sometimes I get dramatic. But there are those in our field that want to stay separate and they want to stay distinct. And I understand that. I know where you're coming from. I understand your stance and your viewpoint. I just don't agree with it. That's all. I don't agree with it. For me, in my mind, integration into the medical realm ensures our profession's survival and the health of our one thing. We make sure it sticks around. I'm afraid that if we just stay out on the fringe, we lose our one thing to other professions. Our reimbursements, they continue to fall. Our income falls year after year because the patients are getting translatoric spinal manipulations instead of chiropractic adjustments. And eventually we just cease to exist. Who's going to need us at that point? They're getting translatoric spinal manipulations from people who have ridiculed us our entire lives. So just some random thoughts there, but I really think it's time. Move toward the middle or suffer the consequences. I really don't see any other options. I mean, I don't see them. There really aren't any other options. We just kind of have to wake up, take care of business, and keep on scooting. The research proves time and time again that we can easily move towards the middle. It's coming out every week. More and more validation. But then there's this. I just got this email. The ACA sent out an email just yesterday discussing the fact that in a continuing effort to be the absolute worst health insurance company in the whole freaking world, United Healthcare is now discontinuing any coverage of chiropractic for the treatment of headaches. What? What in the hell? Wait. Okay. So let's go through the website for United Healthcare real quick. So we know exactly what's going on here, okay? You got your gripey pants on? You're going to need them. I got my gripey pants on. The website's linked in the show notes. Go check it out. UHC says the following: manipulative therapy is unproven and or not medically necessary for treating non-musculoskeletal disorders, including but not limited to lungs. Their example given for lungs was asthma. Not medically necessary or unproven for internal organs. Their example was intestinal. I would agree. Here's the one I don't like. Chiropractic is not medically necessary for treating or is unproven for neurological. Like chiropractors don't do anything with nerves. That bugs the heck out of me. And their example was headaches. So evidently headaches are only neurological. I didn't know that. But that is their way to blanket deny any chiropractic treatment for headaches. The next category was ear, nose, and throat, and their example for that was otitis media, or ear infections. So also TMJ and scoliosis. And then they say manipulative therapy is unproven and or not medically necessary for preventative or maintenance care. The role of manipulative therapy in preventative or maintenance care has not been established in scientific literature. Bull. BS, bull. A beneficial impact on health outcomes has not been established. Bull. They go on to say that craniosacral therapy, yeah, I agree, I don't like that either, or manipulative services that utilize non-standard techniques, including but not limited to applied kinesiology, yeah, I'm not a fan. National Upper Cervical Chiropractic Association, maybe, and neural organizational technique are unproven and or not medically necessary for any indication. They also say manipulative therapy is unproven and or not medically necessary when any of the following apply. Any as in all capital letters. The member's condition has returned to the pre-symptom state. Little or no improvement is demonstrated within 30 days of the initial visit despite modification of the treatment plan. Agreed. I agree. Concurrent manipulative therapy for the same or similar condition provided by another health professional, whether or not the healthcare professional is in the same professional discipline. So, let's unpack it a little bit. I went really that far into this website for United Healthcare just for the, just kind of for that effect. But the main point here is, how can they say that spinal manipulation or mobilization is not clinically proven for headaches? I mean, how's that even possible? In addition to the papers I pointed to here in this podcast, there are more in the links and episodes that I provided, as in around 10 or so others showing improving effectiveness. Just in episode 14 alone, if you go check it out. So, what exactly do they need? And why the change right now? Doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm wondering, is this part of the Texas Medical Association's attack on Texas chiropractors? And I know a lot of people outside of my region don't know a thing about that. But that's where the Texas Medical Association has been suing Texas chiropractors. And they're attempting to remove the neuro snippet, the neuro part from the neuromusculoskeletal treatment scope. They're trying to remove that from chiropractors. So they just want chiropractors working on the musculoskeletal system, not the neuromusculoskeletal system. Sounds like a little bitty deal. It's not. It's a big deal, and we're fighting like crazy. We're in the courts right now. If you want to donate to the Texas Chiropractic Association, go to chirotexas.org and do that, please. So like I said, it sounds like it to me. It sounds like this is where this stuff is coming from. It sounds like that when you look at it. And I get the internal organs part. I get the asthma part. I do not understand how they classify headaches as strictly neuro in nature. And they've made a line there where, they don't cover any neuro treatment for chiropractors. Like a neurological reason is the only reason a person can have a headache. It's unreal. It really is. And here on this site, this United Healthcare site, their site, they talk about two papers. One of them is Chaibi, Chaibi et al. From just last year, 2017. And they talk about another paper by Seffinger and Tang from 2017. And in these papers, they cite, both of these sites conclude that, both of these papers conclude that spinal manipulation was effective. The second paper showed spinal mobilization to be more effective than physical therapy, but guess what? They need more studies. Can you imagine? Probably studies like I've been telling you all about for the past 7 months now. It's called PubMed. Go look at it. There's randomized controlled trials. It doesn't make any sense. And this kind of stuff makes me want to punch myself in the nose and go home and kick my daughter's cat. But I hate that cat anyways. So I want to punt that cat every day. That's nothing new. But seriously, to borrow a phrase from one of my very favorite football coaches ever, I gotta say that this kind of stuff, this makes my pee hot. It makes my pee hot. So chiropractic, excuse me, chiropractic is absolutely effective for headaches every day, all day, and the research sure as hell shows it too. Just keep on keeping on, folks, and stay strong. What other option do you have without going back to school and getting some other degree? It is, regardless, it's still the best time to be a chiropractor. It's still the time in which there is more opportunity for us than ever before. And this stupid insurance company cites only 2 papers, and both of them showed effectiveness for headaches. So it's only a matter of time before all the idiots start to catch up with the research and with what chiropractors have known for literally generations. This week, I want you to go forward, speaking with confidence, knowing that you are effective for headaches and migraines. You can literally change people's lives. If you are not being effective for your patients' headaches, seek out some advice from a mentor. Sometimes it's just a little tweak here and there, and you're going to be on the road, and you're going to be all your patients' hero. You will be your patient's hero. When done well, research really backs us on all of this, all over the place. They just do. And for more proof, go check out show notes on, like I said, episode 14, and on our stroke blog on our chiropractic4.com website. All of that stuff's there. You just got to go check it out. I want you to know with absolute certainty that when chiropractic is at its best, you can't beat the risk versus reward. Because spinal pain is a mechanical pain, and it responds better to mechanical treatment rather than chemical. And the literature is clear. Research and experience shows that in 80 to 90% of headaches, neck, and back pain, patients get good to excellent results when compared to usual medical care, and it's safe. It's less expensive and decreases chances of surgery and disability. It's done conservatively and non-surgically with little time requirement or hassle for the patient. And if done preventatively going forward, we can likely keep it that way while raising the general overall level of health. And at the end of the day, patients have the right to the best treatment doing the least harm. Folks, that's chiropractic. Now send us an email at dr.williams@chiropractic4.com. Let us know what you think of our show, or tell us your suggestions for future episodes. We want to hear it. Feedback and constructive criticism, it's a blessing. And so are subscribers. Excellent reviews on iTunes and other podcast services. Y'all know how this stuff works by now. So help if you don't mind taking a few seconds to do so. That's a great way to say thanks. Thanks for giving us all this information. Being the #1 chiropractic podcast in the world would be really cool. So we can't wait to connect with you again next week from the Chiropractic Forward podcast flight deck. This is Dr. Williams saying upward, onward, and forward. Be sure to find me on social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. While you're at it, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. That's super simple. Be sure and visit chiropractic4.com. Give our podcast a listen. Lots of wonderful, wonderful information there. And as always, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.